Hey traders, John Howell here. Let's get started for the week. This is just going to be a video to get us ready for the week across all the different markets. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into the let's get ready for the markets moving forward. So let's actually start off with the good old stocking market. Then we'll go into the gold, silver, and maybe look at some commodity prices, the good old Bitcoin as well too. And then we'll go through some other things that I really want to share with you as well too, which I know you're going to absolutely love. So let's actually start with the Dow Jones. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, we can see that if I just let me take everything off the screen here. One of the most important things that I like to do when I'm actually using the markets. And I've learnt this through my last 17 years of trading the markets. I've learned a lot over the last 17 years of trading the markets. But one of the things that I really have learned is simplicity is the key to success in the market. Simplicity is the key to success in life. Really, is having simple processes. The one thing that you'll notice on my charts here, I have a couple of lines here, but they're just support and resistance lines. I can take them off the screen here, but I just have this here. Most of the time I'm using that, or I may bring on maybe one or two different moving averages, you know what I mean? Maybe just one moving averages, but 90%, maybe even 95% of what I'm looking at is the chart itself. And the reason why I do that is because I lost so much money and I made so many bad decisions and I wouldn't even get into trades based on, like, I'd have a really good trade based off the chart pattern, but the indicators were telling me, you know, this is oversold or this is overbought. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, and that's where some people have noticed, like, John, you don't even, like, where's the indicators? Like, you don't use the RSI or the stochastics or so on and so forth. Now, I think they're valid and I think they can give you some really good, you know, every now and then, but for majority of the time, the most important thing is the chart, right? So I have a really successful trading system that I trade right now, and it's just phenomenally successful, and it does really well. If you'd like to learn that, then you can go to Johns, JOHNS, johnsfreetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description. Go over there, register for my next webinar. On the webinar, I'll share with you all the details to my trading system, how I went from $250,000 in it to making money. My scanning process, how I scan the market, so I only can spend literally an hour or two per day looking at the markets, and also if you're really interested in, also I'm opening up some spots for me to coach you for the rest of this year every single day. So if that sounds like you, then go to johnsfreetraining.com, link in the description, and you'll be able to see all the details to that, and you'll be able to get that training as well too. So the thing is that I have a really successful system, and majority of it is just using the chart itself. But a lot of the times, and this is the reason why I don't really use the indicators as an entry tool anymore. And the reason why was because I get the chart was telling me something, and I'd get a really good entry signal based off the chart. But then I may get, say, the RSI, right? The RSI. Or the stochastics or whatever, okay? Maybe even the STT, right? Which is the stochastics. And the stochastics might be doing this over here, right? It might come back down, might come back up. And this may be the overbought or oversold territory, but the chart would actually give me a trade. And then so I would actually maybe have a little breakaway bar through here. I might have a little sideways movement through here. I'd have an entry here, and the market would do this 2 bars, and then suddenly this would do this. And then the market would continue up, and I wouldn't get in because of this indicator, but the chart was telling me to get in. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really use, or actually I don't use indicators when I'm using this here. When looking at the markets there, and that's the reason why, guys, simplicity is the key to success, and the success really comes back down to the art of just reading what the market is continue telling us and continue being flexible with that and what's going on. And what I mean by that is that I'm always reading what the market's telling us, right? We have a low, high, bit of a double top. We have a higher low. Oh, look what happened. It broke past. Then we rallied down. Then we rallied back up. Then we ran a higher low. Then we come back down. Then we come back down through there. Then look at this here. We had like a little bit of a double top. Then we had a run down. then we had to run back up, and now we're actually doing this as well too, right? So I'm always looking at sort of like the waves of the markets, and that's actually giving us a gauge of what's going on here right now in the markets. And so on the basis of that, there's a few things that I can see what's happening on the Dow Jones. The first thing is that we can actually see that there was a really good, strong level of support in the last sort of 6 months. Let's actually do this here. Let me just double check. Yet the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, there's been that 34,000 level has been a really good, strong level of support through there. You can see all through here as well too. Look at all these days through here, right? The wicks here. Look at this here. It rallied down, but couldn't close below it. Could not close below it. Could not close below it. Could not close. Could not close. Right? So you can see it actually rejected that level there, and the same through all this level through here as well too. So you can see what's happening here. You can see how that once was support all through here, support levels, and even through here, we did get a lot of wicks, but you can notice that we actually couldn't close below it, right? We could not close below it, all these bars through here. But look what happened. As soon as we closed below it, look what happened. Now it had a lot of had a lot of problems. What? Trying to get back above it, right? So now it's resistance. See, this is where if this downward trend here, and this is where again I'm reading what the market's telling me, guys, and this is the nature of again I made so many mistakes of throwing my thoughts and my opinions at the markets, and that's something I do with my coaching clients when I'm coaching them all the time. And again, if you're interested in me actually coaching you literally every day for the rest of this year, getting access to my scanning processes and seeing my trades and so on and so forth, then just go to that webinar. Literally the first 60 minutes of that webinar, I'm going to be teaching you my strategy so you actually get the strategy. And if you're interested in joining my coaching program, then I'm opening up a few spots to that as well too. And you can see all the details about that on that very first link in the description there. But when I'm actually coaching my coaching clients, the very first thing I'm telling them, because it's off the back of me making a lot of mistakes, is one of the hardest things that I've had to do when I'm actually trading the markets is to not throw my thought. Well, I think, okay, let's actually throw the thinking out. What's the actual market telling us? And then let's actually then go based off here, right? So what I'm seeing here of this basis here is like, okay, what's the market telling me? And that's always the hardest thing, right? Because we throw our thoughts at the market based off a headline of an article. And I see so many people and I saw this back in the crypto days, right? In the last couple of years, I've seen so many people like, oh my goodness, this cryptocurrency, this thing is going to go to the moon because of this white paper that just come out, which may or may not be true, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So I want to try to encourage you to, my encouragement to you is try to refrain from the word, well, I think based off this, this thing in Ukraine, therefore the market's going to do this, right? If anything, stress test that thought, because if you see anything back, a lot of the times when we do go to wars, one, the market has been trending down for quite some time, and secondly, that's generally bottoms in markets. But stress test the facts around those thoughts, right? But never throw your thinking out. Just read what the market's telling us. So to me, when I saw this here, when the market came down and rejected its point through here, and then the market started to come, when the market started to do this, right? And we started to come up and we rejected it here. I'm like, okay, well, the market has told us that this strong level of support, it came back up, it rejected it. And then we pulled back. Okay, well, now it's telling us that this 34,000 is now becoming a strong area of resistance. That's not my thinking. Again, I never trade based off what you think, hope, or fear. I always say that to my coaching clients. Never trade based off what you think is going to happen, what you hope is going to happen, or what you're fearful of is going to happen. That means maybe trying to make a decision, maybe trying to capture the top before the crash is going to happen, or something like that. Always trade based off what is going on in the markets. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, then cool. Well, this actually rejected it this through here. And then now we're going down through here. So then the process was, okay, the market is now moving down. We actually rejected this here. If we do continue to start to break down, then we could actually see a bit more downside, and this downward trend here is possibly going to continue. But then look what happened last week. Last week, what actually happened? We actually made this low point through here. Okay, so we made this low point through there. Then we made, see all this level through here, right? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then we started to 6 days of support, which also created what? Let's do this here for a minute, okay? Which also created a low and a higher low, right? And so we can see that there. And now we actually did what? Now we actually started to make a move to the upside. And now we've made a move to the upside. What has actually happened here? Again, not based off what I think or what I think is going to happen or what I hope is going to happen based off, you know, if you're short the market and you're trying to hope that something's going to happen, or fearful is going to happen, right? You know, or I'm fear the market's going to crash because this is going to be a bull trap and so on and so forth. What is actually going on right now? Well, what is actually going on is this. It has actually broken back up above what? This level here. So now, if we did get a pullback, guess what's likely to happen? This level here is now likely to be what? It's now likely to be, this here was support, and then we had a lot of what? Resistance through here. So then the market's like, if the market does pull back, if we get one or 2 day pullback out of there, then what? We're likely to get what? Support through that as well too. So see what I'm doing here? That's always been the hardest thing over the last 17 years, because every time I traded based off what I think was going to happen, it was always wrong. Because the market is always opposites to what you think. When there's a lot of fear in the marketplaces, that's the time to buy, you know, so on and so forth. And so, you know, and so if we see this through here, so that's the reason why, what's happening right now in these markets is we're getting a very strong bottoming pattern, bit of a technical double bottom. And I say technical because we had this low through here and this low through here, or an actual higher low, and now we're running back to the upside. So the very first thing is that we're getting this whole level through here. And let me see if I can just change this here, right? This whole level through here is now what? If it's now a false breakdown, right? Or a false breakout, a false breakdown out of this longer term, see this longer term level through here? It's now a longer term false breakdown. And the reason why it's a false breakdown is because we didn't get followed through. Once we actually broke down, if this was going to be a true now starting of a downward trend and a continuation of this thing moving down, if this was going to be true and that was going to happen, this resistance point right here, when we got this resistance point, we would have done something like this, right? We would have gone sideways through here, and then we would have actually started to see what? More downside to come after rejecting resistance and continue down. But due to the fact we actually got back above this level here, which we know is strong area of resistance and support, and it's had a lot of problems in the past, and now we've done that, tells us there's a lot of buying activity coming back into the markets. So it's not what I think, it's not what I'm hoping for or what I'm fearful of. Again, on a technical level basis, this is what's going on in the markets. And the really important thing to do when we're actually trading the markets is don't complicate the differences. If you are a trader of these markets, mean you're active, you're getting in, you're getting out, you may be holding for a couple of days or a week or two, then you should be using the charts like I'm talking about right now to make your decisions. Please don't use a fundamental to do that, because just because a good fundamental comes out of a company doesn't mean the price is going to go down. And we've seen that with Tesla, right? Tesla's been in the downtrend for quite some time now, and it's had incredible earnings, but then the market goes down. So my number one suggestion is that if you want to start to get ahead in these games, simplify the process and continue to focus on that. And that I have to pick myself up all the time on these guys. I have to pick up myself all the time. It's like, I'm now throwing a lot on my thoughts of what I think is going to happen, instead of saying, okay, you know what, market, let's actually talk about this here. What's actually going on here? Let's read the highs and lows, and et cetera, et cetera. So let me take all that off the screen there. So we can see that level through there. We also can see that on the Dow Jones that we've had a lot of support, resistance through here, a lot of resistance, and we've actually got that little false breakdown. And now we're actually getting a break back up, has held that 33,000 level as well. So, and then also we can see that there is a lot of, in the markets right now, you can see that we actually broke also out of here, which as you can see, which was a pretty strong area of, I'd have to say somewhere through there, right? There's a pretty strong area of resistance through there. And so, and now we're actually getting a very, and notice it's actually a very strong move. And this is actually a really key point in the markets here, right? Let me bring this up to say the last 6 months here. I want to share this with you here. Notice how we're getting a very big strong move out of this level through here. We're not getting a very weak move. So there's a lot of buying coming back into these markets right now. And it's not very weak, right? Normally, sometimes you'll get like a, maybe like a week. It may do something like that, right? It's very weak up. But this one, we're getting a very strong move to the upside. So based off the look of this here, that we may get a bit of a turnaround here, and then it come back down to, maybe just come back down to these levels here of support level through here, the support level through there. So looking at the Dow Jones, we may get that. Okay, we may get that. But looking at this level here, the key level for me to say, okay, and reading the markets is that if we start to get back below 34,000, well then guess what? We know that this thing here is just run out of steam. And then yes, then we're now likely to continue down. So if we do get below the 34,000 level, then my tune will change based off what the market is telling us. But right now, we are where we are right now, and it does this here is very bullish, and I am looking at this in here, and therefore we have a very good probability of continue to the upside. This thing here may just do something like this, for the rest of this month, or maybe for the next couple of months, and it may just continue to have a big move up. A big sort of what we'll call like a slingshot move, when the market pulls back, and then we have a big slingshot move to all-time new highs. And that may even happen, by the end of this month. And like when I say that, guys, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. Like I don't know, we may even get a pullback, and then it may take a couple of months. But I do see at the end of this year where we are at all-time new highs, especially on the S&P 500. S&P 500, I did my target video down the bottom here at 4,200, and as you guys would know, I did that video when the market was down here, and I've actually got a target of 5,500 by the end of this year on the S&P 500. So, and if we have a look at the S&P 500 on what's going on here, very similar basis, right? What do we got going on here? We have a double bottom in the markets. We now have a breaking of that neckline, which actually gives us a projection of at least that 4,600 level there, right? Which is that's just the projection. You measure from this resistance point here to the double bottom, project that up, and you got that 4,600. So, and as you can see level through here, right? Look at this, all support became resistance. And this one here was like a little bit of a false breakdown once again, and then now we're getting the slingshot move coming out of these markets. Very strong move coming out of these markets right now, and it's shocking most people. People are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And if you've been watching my videos for the last at least couple of weeks, you would know that I've been bringing up that fear and greed index. I've been like, guys, we may get a little bit of downside to come, but I'm starting to become very bullish these markets. And now we're starting to get a complete reversal in the markets when it comes to that. So again, that's what I'm seeing through there right now. Again, we may get a little bit of a pullback through here, but we're not in the oversold territory yet in these markets. So I think we still have a bit more upside to come. Again, looks like the first initial target for me on the S&P 500 would be, looks like we're going to start the race towards that sort of 4,600 level there. Looking at the Dow Jones as well too, the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, very powerful pattern has happened on the Nasdaq, and that is a descending triangle pattern. You can see here the market comes down like this, right? We had a bit of a descending triangle pattern coming down like that, and now we're actually getting a very strong break to the upside. So therefore, we should start to see a very nice move. We should start to see a very nice move back to the upside. We've got a bit of resistance around this sort of 14,400 to 14,800 level. This whole area through here is indeed a strong area of resistance. So we may head up there and then have a bit of a pullback, but then I see the Nasdaq continuing up as well when looking at that through there. So very strong level of these markets here, especially the Nasdaq, guys. And this is one big thing I really want to sort of stress the point here. And the big thing that I learned from one of my mentors is always keep an eye on this weekly chart here. And the weekly chart is still in a very big, strong upward trend, right? Very big, strong upward trend. And if I just look at a Fibonacci level from low to high, you can see that we're not even at the 50% level, but if we let's actually bring on the 38. Yeah, so we got to the 38 level, right? 38, a big pullback 38, and then now we're actually pushing back to the upside. So again, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Nasdaq actually making a very nice move to the upside and a race to all-time new highs out of these markets here. Now, I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but again, my year-end target is the market's making new highs, 5,500 on the S&P through there. Let's go have a look at the Russell 2000 index, and the Russell 2000 index is really holding strong here. You would expect this Russell to actually have a bit more downside, but the Russell is definitely holding strong. We can see here that we actually had a major level of support, is major level of resistance as well too. And now we're just still in this sideways range through here. But if we can start to get back above that 210 level, then it does look like that we have, yeah, it looks like there's going to be, let me just squeeze this chart a bit more. There's that major level, you can see this major channel through here, and now we're just going sideways. If we get back above it, and you can see here we're broken out to the downside out of this level through there. And now we're getting a break back above there. So if we get back above the 210 level, we should get a move back to the 235 level on that through there. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, on the good old stock market for this week here, and the key levels that I'm looking for. But I just want to reiterate this big thing here, guys. On the Dow Jones, when we're looking at the Dow Jones, if the market is not going to continue this upward trend, the breaking point for me, where I have to start turning bearish, is if we start to get a close back below 34,000. If we do get that, then I can no longer be bullish. We're talking short term here, guys, okay? Long term, again, I've seen all-time new highs coming. So, this year, all-time new highs coming. Now, looking at gold, again, we're just looking at some short-term stuff that I'm looking at for this week with gold. I'm seeing that we have a very sort of strong levels of support and resistance coming through there. We definitely have a bit of a trend line coming through there as well too right now. Out of that, let me take that off the screen. We don't need that anymore, and we don't need you anymore. We are definitely at a strong level of support, and even just below that is a bit of a strong level of support. So this whole area through here is definitely a good strong area of support, and we're getting very close. If not, we're at that level right now where we are getting to a bit of a short-term oversold levels in the markets. And so therefore gold should start to see, even if we've got a bit of a downward move through here, we should start to see a bit of a turnaround soon, and then a very nice move back to the upside in gold. So but we are starting to get that very good strong, again, yeah, very good sort of strong level of oversold in the markets where we are right now. So we're getting very close to a turning point. So we may even start to see a turning point coming soon in gold, and then I see a very nice move coming back out of gold a bit after this leg pull. We've seen the pullback. Right now we're getting into that short-term oversold after this pullback, and so this is just going to be a trend continuation. We had a move up, which is a high, come back down, create a higher low, and then I see that coming out of gold as well too. Looking at silver, it has been one of those sort of markets that has been a bit of a lackluster one, right? So we've had this major support level down through here. We do have actually a bit of resistance and support going on through here, and that's actually where the support, which is that $24.50 level. So there's actually a lot of support and resistance going on through there. But you can see what actually happened here, right? We had that, we had this sort of rejection around the 25.50 level. The big key levels we want to see for is that we had a very strong move up. We're getting a pullback right now. We're not quite there yet on the oversold, but we're getting very close. So we may get a bit of a downward move, and then that may trigger here. But we want to see if silver gets back above 25.50, then we're going to start to see another. We're probably likely to see another move to the upside, and then we're probably likely to see a move back up towards this, if we get that, we're probably likely to see another move back up towards that $29 level in silver through there. Let's go have a look at the GDX for this week. The big thing that I'm looking at with GDX is the, we've got a lot of trend lines through here. So the first thing, the big picture here I'm looking at right now is that we have a lot of strong areas of resistance through here, and then we've actually broken out of that level. So that's a very, very, very strong key level through there. You can see we've actually had a very strong move up right now. Okay, and now we're just doing what? We're doing a bit of sideways range, which is a bit of a resting phase. And so we actually am clearly breaking out of this sort of channel through here, breaking up sideways range. So the GDX is actually looking really, really, really good through here. We're building a bit of a sideways range out of the markets, and so therefore we're doing this through here, right? Building just a bit of a rest right now. So right now I would expect to see this market to maybe go sideways a bit more, and then start to make a continuation on the upside, and start to see another big strong leg out of the GDXJ. So that's something that I'm definitely watching for. On a short-term level basis, let me bring up the last 3 months worth of data. So on that short-term level there is a trend line that I'm noticing. It's probably going to be somewhere through there. So that'll definitely be a very strong area of a trend line that I'll be watching for in the markets there. I don't want too many trend lines on this screen through here. So that'll be the trend line that I want to use through there, right? So we may even get a bit of a sideways range through here. We're getting a bit of a short-term pullback. So actually that'll actually be pretty powerful actually if we got that. So if we got this through here, right, and then we got a very strong breakout bar like that, we're probably likely to start to see a very nice move up after getting this pullback through here, and then we've had a very nice move up. So that trend line there would be very, very powerful. If we can get down to that and then start to get a bit of a bounce and then get a bit of volume come into it, that'll probably trigger the that next buying leg. So that'll actually be really nice if we can get that. But overall, still looking really bullish on the GDX there. So let's go have a look at the GDXJ as well. So GDXJ, we're getting very sort of similar situations through here. We had a very strong area of support around that 37 level. And we can see here that this 37 level, big support level through there. But we're getting that very strong move up once again. So very strong move up. And now we're developing this sort of sideways range through here. And now the sideways range, this resting phase, has actually broken out of this long-term channel through here. So this is a very, very, very bullish, and it's one of the reasons why I have a long-term position in the GDXJ. This is actually my favorite one, which I believe is going to be the one that's going to deliver the best return. It's probably going to be the most volatile, right? So there's going to be a lot more risk there, but I believe it's going to be the one that's going to deliver the best return out of when it comes to the GDX and the GDXJ. I personally have my money in the GDXJ for that reason. So once again, we're doing that. If you can see through here, look at this through here, we actually had a very big move up, and now we're getting that breakout. So this breakout to me is the start of something major, something absolutely incredible in the GDXJ through there. And so we're developing through it. So that's that channel breakout through there. That's that big picture level through there, guys. So this sideways range is just a bit of a sideways rest we're getting right now. So I am expecting to see this thing start to make a bit more of a move to the upside when it comes to the GDX through there. On a short-term level, we may have a bit of a trend line. Let's actually have a look at a bit of a support and resistance line out of the markets through there. So that'll be sort of an ultimate trend line we could use, or we could use somewhere like through there. But let me just, again, this is just a short-term level, guys, just absolutely short-term on the markets. Let me bring this up through here. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find these low points. I'm trying to find the best sort of line that I can use through here. All right, so if I use that through there and possibly through there, it does look like we're getting a lot of bounces through off that level through there as well. So I'd have to use that level, right? That'll be the level I'd like to use. That level there, that level there. We're almost at that level through now, and now we're getting this overall pullback out of the markets here. So I do see that this market is again, just looking at this level through here, it's not exact, is it? Because we're getting that level through there. I'm just trying to see. Let me draw another trend line. Let me see if I can get another one there. No, it's not through there. So maybe if I just drew it up a little bit more, so maybe if it was just like through there, I'd have to say, you know what, I'm just going to draw it through there. That'll be the level I'm going to use, because we did get a bounce through here, a bounce through there, not much through there, but we definitely got a bounce recently as well too. And now we're going sideways. So that's actually a very, very sort of strong bullish pattern in the market. We're getting, again, this sideways range. So looking at this market here, if we can start to get sort of a breaking of this level through here, so it's like a short-term little ascending triangle pattern. If we can get something like that, and then we get a very nice breakout to the upside, something like this pattern through here, then we've had we're trading with the trend. So we're trading higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So the trend is your friend. We always trade after a pullback. So we wait for a period of sideways, and then we get a very strong breakout bar. And if we can get that, if we can get the volume doing something like this, and then on the breakout bar, we get a breakout bar like that and a very big extreme volume, there's a massive probability we're going to at least get a very short-term move out of it. This is on a short-term technical basis, guys. That big long-term picture, I see incredible moves coming over the next, this decade, basically, in the mining sector. This decade, I see it's going to be for that there. But again, now bringing it back to short-term on a trading basis, getting in, getting out. It's stuff that I look for, again, for cash flow in the markets through there. And again, guys, you know, if you like to, again, make sure you join my webinar, because I'll teach you all about my short-term trading system and what I look for that helps me generate cash flow in the markets, my scanning process and that sort of stuff. And then I want to give you the opportunity for me to be able to coach you and help you every day when it comes to stuff like I'm teaching you right now, right? Like the chart reading and the mindset side of things and the trading and profit taking and so on and so forth, right? There's that sort of stuff that's important to do. And that's the reason why I'm there pretty much every day helping and coaching you. And you'll be able to see all that detail as well too. Very first link in the description, or go to Johns, JOHNS, freetraining.com. Go over there right now. Even if you're not interested in the coaching program at all, you're like, screw you, John, I'm not going to give you any money. Like, cool. Just go join the webinar anyway. For the first 60 minutes, I'm actually teaching you everything you need to know to help you stop losing money, to help you understand how the markets work, help you understand what a really amazing trading pattern looks like, massive probability, how to actually scan the markets for really good opportunities, and so on and so forth. So go join that right now. You're going to absolutely love it. So that's what I'm looking for on the GDXJ. Very, very, very powerful through there. So let's go have a look at the silver mining sector. And isn't the silver mining sector doing something? Let's start with the SIL, and then we'll go to the SILJ. So on an overall big long-term picture, really not getting. I got a very big. What is that? What is that? What are you? We have a very big long-term trend line through here. So that this very big we see that level through there. Yeah. Once we start to get back above here, okay, this is the long-term picture I'm talking about, okay, guys? Big long-term picture. All right, once we start to get back above here and we start to develop higher lows and so on and so forth above here, that's where the SIL, I believe, is going to start to make some serious moves. And if we can start to get back above this sort of 45 level, especially once we start to get back above that 50 level on the SIL, that's when we're probably likely to see some big moves. So, but the SIL is sort of a bit of a lackluster in the markets through there. So it's nothing I'm really keen on long term right now. Again, my longer term out of all these several through here is the GDXJ, and the reason why is, once again, you can see that we're still at major low levels, and we're just getting a very strong breakout after developing this not much going on for a long time. And if you're new to my work, then you'll notice, then you'll understand when the market doesn't do much for a long time, it does a lot very, very, very quickly when it does start. We just don't know when that start is going to happen, but I believe we're just getting started right now on this breakout. So generally when the market doesn't do anything for a long time, the breakout is very violent and strong because it's had a lot of rest, not much going on, people forgetting about it, and then bam, out of nowhere it comes. So very, very, very strong in the market. So that's that big picture that I'm looking through there, guys. Again, my sort of analysis shows that we need to really get back above 45 to really see the buyers come back in. So that's that long-term picture there, okay? Short term, what's happening this week right now? We can see that there's actually been a very sort of strong areas of a channel. right? There's actually a very sort of strong channel happening in the markets right through here. So we had a major level of support around that. I'd have to say around that. Let's go around the $34 level, as you can see. Yeah, probably around that $34 level. And then possibly a strong area of resistance around that $38 level. Yeah, possibly through there, because that's where you notice actually couldn't close above it, couldn't close above it, couldn't close above it. So there'd be that $38 level. So on a channel basis, if we do get a break to the upside, what we do is we actually measure from the high. So we measure from the high up through there, and then we measure down through the low through there, and then we project that up like so. So let's actually bring this there. So, oh, there you go. How awesome is that? Where is that trend line? Oh, that's that next major resistance level. Oh, cool. I was like, why have I got that trend line there for? So that's that next major resistance. So this tells me, and this again, guys, this is me. I'm like a hunter, right? That's what trading is all about. I'm hunting for these opportunities, and I'm looking for these amazing opportunities. So right now, if we do start to get back above, that tells me the projection for this is around that $42 level, which is actually goes inside of that next area of resistance. So that's what I'm looking through there. So if we start to get back above that 38 level, so that's a very, very, very key area for me. Let me go back down to the last sort of couple of months. We're developing we're starting to develop a very nice upward trend. We've got a low, higher low, and we've actually got this trend line coming through as well too. So I'd have to say somewhere through, somewhere through there would be the trend line. Let me go back to the short-term charts. And we are getting a bit of a pullback through here as well too, right? We can see we actually, you call it like a triangle pattern or whatever, maybe like a triangle pattern. It's just really just you can see it's actually having a pullback, right? So we have market runs up, then we pull back, then it goes for another run, and we're getting a pullback. What I would like to see is I'd like to see this maybe just do not much again, and then get a very strong breakout bar like that. If we can get something like that, and we get like little small volume, and then a very big increase in volume, and we start to get that sort of bar on the mining sector, then this sort of bar gives me a massive, massive probability of now I'm starting to see the move back up towards that 42 level. So on a long-term basis, guys, you see my analysis, which is above that 45. On a short-term sort of trading basis, make some short-term casharui, short-term money, which is just cash flow. Then that's what that's just what I'm going to be focusing on for myself this week from there. Let's go to the SILJ and let's have a look at the SILJ. So SILJ big picture. Let's have a look at the big picture through there. We definitely had a lot of support. You can see back here we had a lot of support around that $13 level. That's where we're at right now. Oh, that's a $15 level we're at right now. So we're definitely not there. So that's not relevant to the markets as we speak. We can see looking at what's relevant now is that we've definitely had a lot of sort of resistance around this level through here, around the $14 to $15 level. You can see that in the past, we've definitely had a lot of areas of resistance, and so we're really creating a lot of resistance around where we are right now in the markets, right? So we're developing, watching that. So the big thing for me is if we break this level, then the next key area of major resistance is around that sort of $18 level through there. So possibly around that sort of that sort of $18 level, as you can see in the past, that's been that strong area of resistance. So that tells me if we start to get a nice move back above that $15 level, then we have a really good probability of starting to see a very nice movement to the upside with that level through there. So the big key level for me would be that. And if I have a look at now when I actually start to bring on my moving averages, the big thing for me is you can see that, let's actually bring this down through. The big thing for me, as you can see, is the moving average is trending up nicely, and now we're developing a bit of sideways range. So we had a very nice sort of strong move. Developing that, we've got a very strong moving average, so that's actually really nice. Strong moving average for me, guys, it's like a bit of momentum, right? When we're going flat through here and there's not much going on, there's no momentum behind it. But when we start to get a very strong moving average behind the market, it gives you like a bit of a tailwind. You know what I mean? Like it's like jumping on a wave that's really got a really good sort of a really good sort of push behind it. So that's the big overall picture I'm looking at through there. That's that resistance level through there as well too. On a short-term level, when it comes to a short-term trend line that I'm looking at right now, again, we're moving up through here. So there's actually the key points I'm focusing on right now is low point, low point, low point, and low point, right? So that's my eye. My eyes, I'm always looking at this here. I don't like to draw too many trend lines because then it's like having, too many indicators. You start to get confused. So the big thing for me I'm going to start to look at is that this will be the one trend line that I'm looking for. It would have to be, that'll be the trend line and that'll definitely be the trend line I'm looking for, right? I'm looking to use there. So that's that $14 level through there. That's that strong area of resistance where we are right now on that short-term level. So we've definitely got a very nice sort of, very nice upward trend. We have this sort of low point down the bottom here. Then we have a higher low. Now it's had a bit of a pullback. We're having a higher low. So the same situation again, if we can start to get a bit of sideways range through here a bit more, and then we start to get a very strong breakout bar like that, and the market looks something like this, and then we have a very big increase in volume with this breakout bar like this, then that's going to tell me that we've actually waited for a nice trend. We waited for a pullback, and then this breakout bar, if we get that with a lot of volume, that tells me there's a lot of buyers coming back into the market. And looking at that, there's actually a bit of a gap here as well too, right? So see this gap right here. Then if that happens, if that pattern that I just shared with you on the SIL does happen, then it does look like we have a real high probability of running up and closing the gap, and then we're probably gonna overrun that as well too. And we're going to start to get to 1750. Now, guys, I don't know how that's going to happen if we do get that. If we do get something like this, it may go straight up like that and then hit that, or it may go up to heat level here. We may have a bit of a sideways and then eventually get to that as well too. So we just never know. I'm very confident on seeing this level, 1750. If we do start to get a very strong breakout bar like I just talked about, I just don't know how it's going to get there. So that's what I'm looking at there from all the mining stuff. Let's go have a look at the US dollar just quickly. The UUP. So US dollar on an overall sort of long-term basis. What's happening with the US dollar long-term? So we're actually in a very sort of strong upward trend through here. Let's actually go to the weekly charts and let's see what's happening here on the weekly chart. So I'm noticing. All right, so I'm noticing here on the weekly chart, we definitely have this sort of strong sort of upward sort of channel level through here. Yeah, see, notice that's not right. That's not right through there. So we need to bring this in a bit more, I would say. Maybe somewhere like that. Because this angle is not right. Let's actually do this angle properly through here. So I'm just trying to get the right angle. I'm trying to get the most sort of touches through here on this level. That'll be the level through there. And let's actually just see how that fits through there as well. Yeah, it's not exact, is it? All right, let's actually start all over again. So, guys, this is me just drawing the trend lines on the fly, by the way. I'm just trying to get, I'm just going to have to use these major levels down the bottom here. So I'm going to use these levels down the bottom here. And then I'm going to use this level up the top here like that. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Right, that'll be. See how we just had these major low points and major high points? You can see where we're at right now when it comes to that. So that's what we're looking at there through there. We can see that there's been a major area of resistance around that sort of $26 level. Again, I'm looking at the UUP here, guys. I could actually bring up the US dollar, but that software is not open up here. So we're in a bit of a channel, but let me take that level off the screen here for a minute. So the big thing I'm looking out for on there is that we are in this very big, we had a bit of sideways range, a nice breakout, and now we're getting a bit of a pullback through here. So is there any level of, I'd have to use that line, that as the line through there on the UUP. So we're in a very strong upward move. We're getting a bit of a bounce through here. It's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens here. It looks like we're not in a short-term oversold level yet. Like I talk about with gold, how gold looks like it's getting into a short-term oversold, which means we should start to see a nice move to the upside soon. We're not getting that yet, so it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens here with the UUP. But if we do start to break above these levels back up here again, then we could quite possibly get ready to go for another run out of that as well. So looking at the US dollar, and a very, very, very big move to the upside. And as you can see, this is level through here. This is the big level I was talking about with my private clients. I'm like, guys, especially around this $80 level, that whole area from 80 above, I'm like, guys, this like don't chase this. I was even saying it on YouTube as well too, like don't chase it, right? Always wait for a pullback. The best trades are after a pullback in the markets. Okay, so how the markets work, you can see here, it goes for a run, and then it pulls back. Wait for it to start to turn, then try to jump in there. And then don't try to jump in after it's made a big move, and then it pulls back. Then we go for a run, then it pulls back, right? What you want to do is you want to try to wait for the pullback and maybe try to jump in here somewhere. Wait for a pullback. Okay, we'll start to pick up here. Okay, wait for a pullback, so on and so forth. Try to wait for that pullback and then jump in on that next move to the upside through there. So let's go have a look at the good old Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Someone said to me, "Oh, John, I see what you're saying with gold, but the crypto market gives so much more spectacular returns." I'm like, it's 50% from the high. How spectacular returns? Market summary. What do we got here? Market summary. S&P 500, Nasdaq. Bitcoin down. Oh, Dow Jones, US dollar, Russell. Okay, cool. Let's go have a look at the good old Bitcoin. Wait for this thing to load. Yeah, this thing is... okay, let's actually bring this chart up. So the big thing that I'm noticing right now, guys, when it comes to the good old Bitcoin, let's go back to the weekly chart here for a minute. Just want to see... oh, the danger. Actually, we're getting very close to a short-term turning point on Bitcoin. So, we may get a little pop here on the good old bit. Actually, no, we're not. No, forget that. I'm looking at the wrong software. I'm actually looking at oil. I've got oil there, then I've got my other software in the background. So, forget that. Time out. Let's go. So that's that weekly chart. We're going sideways through here. If we start to break below, especially that level through there, which is that sort of, what is that level? Possibly the 30,000 level. Yeah, possibly around that 30,000. Then this thing's gonna cut through, knife through butter, like. Because the next major support level, and people are like, shut up, John, shut up. I bought crypto based off everyone else's hype, and now I'm hoping it's going to go back up again. We're going to go through a big move. Guys, the big move has already happened. It's already been done and dusted. All right? Remember I said before, when the market doesn't do much for a long time, like the GDXJ, when the market doesn't do much for a long time, that's when we get big moves. Okay? And then when the big moves happen, don't try to chase it after the big moves already happened. You don't want to get in here like most people are doing. Why? Because the moves already happened. What you want to do is you want to try to get in here, right? You want to try to get in like here and here and here, right? As it's starting to make a move up. So let's go have a look at the good old sideways. The markets happen through here. So we're developing definitely, yeah, on a short-term level, guys, we're definitely getting a very sort of strong areas of a channel here. So we have that strong area of resistance around that sort of 44,000, maybe 45,000 level, and then we have another strong level of support through there. But it's actually more like an angle, isn't it? So we'd have to use this here would be the angle I'm looking at. So it's more like an angle on that bottom line. See what I did just there, guys? So this is just really one bounce through here. We've got a bit of a bounce through there, but that's just really one bounce. I'm not really getting a good channel. So the market is telling me, not what I think, but what the market is telling me is that we have this low point, and now we're squeezing up into this pattern, which actually, again, it's not bullish or bearish in the markets here. Now, if we do start to see, this is the if scenarios come into play, okay? With the good old Bitcoin, which I don't really care, by the way. I'm not here or there with the good old Bitcoin. But if we just start to get back above here, right, we start to get back above, say, these levels through here, then that actually could be a very nice start of a pop to the upside when it comes to good old, Bitcoin. But if we start to do something like this, right, and then we get a very strong breakout like that, and then obviously this trend line continues up like that. If we get something like this here, get ready for another free fall out of the markets. The market's going down right now. Down, pullback, down. This is one overall pullback. If we do start that, then that's going to be the next. That's likely to be the next start, or the start of the next move to the downside. So there we go, traders. Hope you enjoyed today's market update. This is a really big market update. Getting myself ready for the week, and obviously sharing that with you as well. If you'd like to learn more about traders, about how I actually trade the markets, if you're losing money in the markets, then secret number 1 on my webinar, which is very first link in the description, or go to Johns, JOHNS, johnsfreetraining.com. Secret number 1 is I'm going to share with you exactly what I had to learn to do to stop losing money, to making money. Secret number 2 is all about my trading system. Secret number 3 is all about how I scan the market to find these opportunities. And then I'm also going to talk to you about giving you an opportunity for me to be able to coach you for the rest of this year, every single day, get some live coaching sessions, get my scanning software, and so on and so forth. So if that sounds good to you guys, then go there right now, sign up, register for my next webinar, and I'll see you real soon.